Good time to check in with our good friend, Janice Dean, the weather machine from Fox News. Okay, Janice, tell me what's going on. How much are we going to get down here in the D.C. area?
Well, the forecast calls for, around 5 inches in D.C., but higher totals obviously north and west of the downtown area. And you're seeing the snow right now, and that's going to kind of continue through the midday. So if you had an easy time going to work. Is anyone working except you guys today?
Well, everybody else in the office gets the day off, just saying.
Janice Dean, like Freddie the Frogcaster, we are essential employees here.
That's right.
Very nicely done.
Freddie the Frogcaster and the Big Blizzard, of course, Janice Dean's book. All right, so put all of your Frogcaster powers at play here. What do you think this is going to end up with? Because I swear to you, Janice Dean, I heard a forecast yesterday. It wasn't here on WMAL.
Okay.
And it said, tomorrow we'll have light to moderate snow, possibly heavy. Now, can you please narrow it down a little bit for me, Janice Dean?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
One of those things will happen.
I think I've told you guys before, snow is one of the hardest things to predict in terms of total.
Why is that?
Oh, well, it depends on the geography. I mean, you guys are tough because, where you are, we're the coast, we're right off the water, so we can sometimes get, some of those really heavier bands, really narrow bands, almost like lake effect snow, it's ocean effect snow, that can kind of set up in an area. We can't predict where that's going to set up, so sometimes we can go way past the forecasted amounts because of the snow bands that set up that we really have no idea where they're going to set up. But, a good guesstimation right now would be around 5 to 6 inches in the D.C. area, and again, higher totals north and west of the city. It really depends on where you are. New York right now, we're on the cutoff, so we're sort of, and Boston's not really going to get much of anything. So this is a tricky forecast because if the track hovers a little more to the south, a little more to the north, or east or west, that can change things. But right now, we're pretty much right on target. We are expecting the snow to start really in earnest midday in the D.C. area and then kind of continue until around 4 p.m., 5 p.m., and then be out of there. And then we're going to get really cold air, maybe some record-breaking temperatures overnight tonight and into tomorrow.
All right, so here's the other question. Of course, we're talking about our local area. We care deeply about this. But, this is a huge storm that encompasses a large swath of the nation. Like I heard somebody describe it as from New Mexico all the way to the East Coast.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I think 90 million people were affected by this storm, and unfortunately we had a lot of injuries. We've had several deaths because of this major snowstorm. So, again, a lot of real estate affected, especially across the South. I know we talk about being in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic region where sometimes we're not prepared, but when you're talking about Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Deep South, getting some of these snow totals, Kentucky, I think, got over 10, almost 12 inches of snow.
Wow.
So, they're having a rough time of it as well, and there is some good news on the horizon, okay?
All right.
It looks like there's going to be a pattern change next week, and, for the next at least 5 to 7 days, we're going to be dealing with more, not spring-like, but more average temperatures. But, average in the 40s is going to feel balmy compared to what we've had.
Wow. And also I hear that over 1,700 flights have already been canceled today because of this storm, so wreaking havoc on people's travel plans as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I've had a lot of personal emails this morning. Is my flight going to get out? The best advice is to check ahead if you can. I think they're going to be probably canceling flights left and right for the next several hours in and around the Mid-Atlantic.
They've sort of changed the way they approach that in recent years. They used to try to do the best they could, and they'd make a decision on a flight-by-flight basis. I think nowadays the airlines have just decided, no, we're not even going to fly that flight for 24 hours. We'll pick it up tomorrow morning.
And I think that's wise. At least you can give people a heads up to try to change their flights. And this has been a tough winter. And Boston, I think, is less than 2 inches from setting the snowiest of all time. So, we've been complaining, but they've got like 105 inches of snow that they've had this year.
And other than the cold temperatures, we've actually had a relatively easy winter down here. The snow has been barely a problem. Can I ask you this, Janice Dean? Who there at Fox News is the biggest wimp? Who calls in and
the
says
biggest snow wimp?
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, it's going to be too hard for me to come in from Long Island or what? Come on,
from
you can
the
tell.
Long Island.
Yeah, or maybe from New Jersey. I see the Doocy is not on the set of Fox and Friends today.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
What's going on there? Too hard to cross the Lincoln Tunnel there?
Well, that might be interesting. There were just between you guys and myself,
Yeah.
of course. There were hotels last night that were offered. So if you didn't get a hotel, then it's kind of your fault.
Interesting.
So I'll try to find the scoop on Mr. Ducey.
They're going to feel the wrath of ales.
That's a wrath you don't want to feel, my friend. I can assure you that.
All right, Janice Dean, and how's everything with Freddie the Frogcaster?
Everything
the
is
book
great.
is flying off the shelves?
The Blizzard book is doing really well. We want to teach kids how to be prepared, just in case. And the new book comes out in July, the Hurricane book. So I hope you'll have
hurricane, frogs and hurricanes. How can you go wrong?
That is not a good mix. Generally
hopefully
speaking,
we can prepare people for the hurricane season.
And again, I just want to point out that when you do the animated feature, I want to be the voice of Freddie the Frogcaster.
You just have to sign in the dotted line, my friend.
Listen, whatever it takes.
Talk to his people, all right?
All right.
Janice Dean, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.